The default option is selected at the monitoring service. Okay, I'm also going to record this also. But anyway, and the response was the gentleman was having trouble with his Excel or with Excel and Power Query importing data. Okay, so let's take a look at his original question over here.
like enjoying the party because I weren't meant to be there. I was to be there. I was to be there. I was to be there. I was
Walkthrough. Steps through the. What we're going to do is. So for whatever reason, I don't know when it started, but apparently Excel 2016 did not have a folder import function. Okay, so I'll give this guy a few minutes to see if he actually does show up. All right, I'll be back with you folks in just a couple minutes. Because the person seems to be pretty much online right now. Uh, like I said, the problem is he's using Excel 2016, and apparently it doesn't have an import folder function into it. So what I'll show you in a minute is how to manually import them 12 files or a few of the files, and then use the combine function in Excel to combine them into a single data frame. Okay. So anyway, I'll be back in like say 12 minutes to get the show on the road. Well, I've given Joseph 15, 20 minutes to click on the link. So we're going to continue without him. I will, of course, give him a link to the answer to his question. Again, the question is how do you import multiple CSV files into Excel and into Power Query without the folder function? Because in the later versions, like I have, I could simply click on the folder name and then try to import every single file into Excel I could. But Joseph has Excel 2016, so apparently that wasn't part of that package, okay? But anyway, let's go back up here now. And let's minimize this. Let's just see here. See what Joseph has to say. Of course, the hot topic on the internet now and in the data analytics community is chat, what's it called? Chat GTP, which isn't really, it was, well, I think it was designed to, it's an AI tool, artificial intelligence tool, and so far I've asked it some questions. Now, it's not necessarily tend to be a programming tools per se, but I ask it programming questions. I ask it, how to calculate the median value in Fortran, and then I ask it an assembler. Now, it gave me two answers, one for each one of the questions, but I haven't actually tried to actually run the code yet. But that's a story for a different time. Okay, so anyway, so what originally initiated his question was this video here. Okay, I'll put a link to this right here in the chat session. Okay. And this, in order to work this thing from beginning to end, you have to have a version of Excel and Power Query that allows you to use the folder function to import. Okay, the data, of course, is the ever popular cyclistic bike share data. So let's just go and take a look at Excel and exactly how we do this in Excel. And by the way, you could also do the now one thing that is also possible that if he has Power Query, okay, Power Query. Uh, if he has Power BI, it's possible maybe to do a filter import within Power Query and Power BI. But that's again, that's a story for a different day. So this is the first story of this session. The second story of this session is going to be uh, we're going to try to import the data into Tabula. Okay, so what do we do here now? Let's just close this. Let's just close this. Don't save. You know what? Let's just name this file after this gentleman over here. Save. Let's save it to Documents. Let's save it to Power Query, and let's just call it JOSEPH. Okay, now we'll just save this. So now our task is to come over here to the data function and begin to import the files. Now there's 12 files, about 4 million rows, but I'm probably not going to import every single one. I'll probably import 2 or maybe 3 or 4 just to illustrate the point. And that should take us over 1 million rows to begin with. Anyway, so with Excel, with this version of Excel, which is Excel 365, I can come over here, File, and Folder. Okay. Now, one note about Power Query: if you're using an older version of Power Excel, you can go on search on, and you can find out where you can actually install the Power Query uh, utility and into your existing Excel. Okay, so that way you'll have Power Query without upgrading your Excel package. Okay, and I certainly encourage you to do that. So if we want to import the, let's say we have CSV files in Food Mart. Okay, you can click that and click Open. Then it would open the directory and import all the files in that directory. Okay, but our problem is we don't have. What do we do if our version of Excel doesn't have that function built into data query? Well, go over to Data. What's this? Picture, CSV. Come back over here. The data is actually stored as part of our programming. Okay, cyclic bike share, right? Bike data. We're going to sort one. We can sort two, right? No, we can't. So we have to import them. Now at this point, we're not actually going to do anything with the. What we want to do is we come over here, say load to, and here's the magic part. Only create a connection, okay? Because what it is, Power Query stores the data separate from Excel spreadsheets. Okay, so what we're doing, a connection, you can think of connection as sort of like maybe a mirror, or in other operating systems, you can think of it as a symbolic link back to the original data. So that's one file. Let's go over here again. Over here, we'll import two, transform data. And now I see we got two files imported so far. Again, we're going to do the same thing over here. Load to. Now we can also say add to data model, but that's a subject for a separate video. So there's two. I'm just trying to get enough of them to get us over the 1 million row hump. Okay. again, this is because you don't have your current version of Power Query doesn't have the that ability to do it. And remember, our motto is whatever it takes. This is what, 5? Yeah. Load 2. Now, so again, the data isn't actually being stored in the spreadsheet, okay? And let's do one more. Let's do 6. So now we're ready to combine them into a now we're ready to use the combine function to combine them into a single data set. Append queries as new. Okay. Now look at this. Well, these are going to be out of order, but it doesn't make any difference, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's go rearrange the imports. One, two, three, 4. Delete that one. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I have 6 months worth of data, okay? Okay. Now we're going to rename this. And now we're going to load. Now here's our data. Okay. So remember, this is a connection and not an actual data table. So the actual physical size isn't really that big, or shouldn't be. So now you come back over here. We're going to use this for your data cleaning. Edit query. So how many rows of data do we have for this? Transform, count rows. So we already got more rows than Excel can handle, right? 2.3 million rows, okay? And now you can begin to do your data cleaning. Parse out your dates, get rid of unnecessary columns. Let's just, so we can say, hey, we don't really need this row there. And we can come over here, transform. Let's do a group by function. Count rows. Oh, this is kind of weird, isn't it? That's kind of strange. Okay, now we're reconnected. So I'm not really sure where we're at here at this point. The good news is I'm also recording this for YouTube, which doesn't depend on that. So, so a quick analysis tells us that of the 2.3 million or 3.3 million records, uh, what is it? 2.1 million are docked bikes, and 1.3 million, 196,000 are. Now we can come up here and we could save this function. Okay, we can save this. We can call this. Uh, okay, and so forth. Okay, this is kind of interesting then, because we apparently lost the. Okay, what I should have done if I wanted to actually keep that count is to make a copy of the original data frame. Let's just check this over here. Let's just count rows again. Yeah. So this is the original. This is the original. All right. Okay. And then of course you can come over here and you can do things like right click and copy, you duplicate the column, then use the date function and transform to pull out different parts, pull out days and dates and hours and days of the week and stuff like that to do your analysis. So at this point, okay, at this point, you're now back over to the video at the second minute. So at this point, I'll include a link to this on YouTube. I'll include a link to this video in the description. Okay. You can also copy the link from the chat section. And there you go, Joseph. There's what you have to do in order to create a to use a Power Query to combine files inside of Excel. Okay, and again, the key is you import each of the 12 files into separately. Then you use the close and apply, and you apply it to a connection and not a table, not a power pivot. It's a straight connection. Okay, because again, well, let's just take a look over here. Let's see. Let's take a look over here at this file. Hmm. Wonder where I saved that to. Oh, what's this? A poinsettia? I want to find what the file's called, where it's at, so we can actually go out and take a look. Let's see, Excel Power Query. See how large it actually is. So you see here, despite having 3 million records in the data model in Power Query, the file is only 21 kilometers. So there's actually, it's my understanding that this is actually a compressed file. So it includes a spreadsheet apparently, but it also somehow apparently this is just the size for the spreadsheet. Okay, somewhere else somehow Power Query is being stored also. But you can see 2 or 3 million records, 6 files, and using the method I showed you to combine and use the apply function with the to connection, you basically have no data. The data isn't actually stored in your spreadsheet. It's stored as part of Power Query. Okay. So anyway, that's our first stop. Now again, we could do the same thing. All right. We can do the same thing in Power BI or Tabula. Now the problem with Tabula is, as you'll see here, there's a new version of Tabula out. Now we can't import we can only import one at a time. Now the problem with Tabula is you can't really do any data cleaning. Okay. So this is oh, look at this. We got all the files here, right? Let's just append. Watch what it says. Union. Okay. So we want to do a union. Hopefully. So I wonder if this is a way to actually import all the files in it using the wildcard. Anyway, let's take a 15-minute break, come back and check the progress after that, okay?